So Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a very complex game, obviously. So the synopsis is hard to summarize in a few words. But basically, it's the continuing story of Ezio Auditore da Firenze, which is one of Desmond Miles' ancestors. So again, this being an Assassin's Creed game, we play a historical character through Desmond Miles, our character in the present time. Basically, Ezio this time goes to Rome and decides to bring the fight to the Borgia, who are living and ruling the city of Rome. And he will need to both reunite the underground, some of his previous allies, and also build a brand new Assassin's Guild in order to face the Borgia, who are getting more and more powerful. So in a nutshell, that's the idea. But also, there's some reveals in the present time as well. So there's an intertwining of multiple stories throughout the game. Right, so Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 2, in which you play a Desmond Miles that sits down in an animus machine and relives the memory of one of his ancestors, so Ezio Auditore da Firenze again. So he's our main character in this story. And Ezio this time around will go to Rome to face the Borgia, who are living and ruling the city. And as he goes there, he will realize that he needs allies in order to vanquish them. So he will both reunite the underground, so some of his previous allies from the previous game, and also build and assemble a brand new Assassin's Guild from the ground up in order to build up his strengths and be able to face the Borgia, who are getting more and more powerful. The game is coming out this November, on November 18, on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Like previous games, this is a multi-site production. The lead is in Montreal, so we're basically developing the single-player experience. But we have help with multiple facets of the game, such as the multiplayer, which is developed in Annecy in France. We're doing the secret locations, which are done in Singapore. Some exotic missions are done in our cousin studio in Quebec City. We are also doing some testing and some more multiplayer things in Bucharest, Romania. So as you can see, it's quite a large production. Well, in terms of story, Rome is very interesting. We barely touched it in Assassin's Creed 2. So this time, it's our main playground. So it was a very important historical city at the time. It was there that was the popes were living, but also it was, as it is today, one of the most important places in Italy. So in terms of story, I think we are bringing a lot of freshness to the game. And then in terms of gameplay, what's interesting about Rome is that actually in the 16th century, Rome was a very decrepit, very poor city. The Borgias who were ruling the city were tough on people, and the city was really in a state of disrepair. It had not yet reached the Renaissance period like the other cities that were featured in Assassin's Creed 2. So Ezio, by coming to Rome, will bring, in a sense, the Renaissance, and the player through this character will be able to you know, really have an idea of how he can make a difference by using a couple of our features, such as the Assassin's Guild and the Rome upgrade system, and basically all the new fight mechanics because of all the military presence in the city. So the Brotherhood has multiple assets. Basically, the idea is that Ezio will need to recruit people that are already fighting the Borgia in the city. So these guys are like rebels without a cause. They're looking for a strong leader, and Ezio will be the man for that. And so the players will be able to find these guys, recruit them by helping them out in different situations. And once they're recruited, the player will be able to send them on what we call contract assignments throughout Europe. So we have kind of a mini game within the game, like a board game where you can select contracts with different sets of difficulty, And when they come back, they gain experience, which you can spend on improving their abilities, such as weapons and armor and stuff like that. Once they're upgraded, the player will be able to use them against the other guards directly in the game. So there's an entire loop for playing the Assassin's Guild. So in the multiplayer, we have different types of modes. One of them is the wanted mode. So this one is pretty straightforward. The idea is it's a little bit like a cat and mouse gameplay, where you play both cat and mouse. So for example, you will have, as a Templar training to be an assassin, you will get a contract to go and search and assassinate someone. But someone has also a contract on you. So it creates like a love triangle between your pursuers and the person you're pursuing, basically. So it's very intense, and you can decide which way you want to play. So if you have a stealth approach, you might find a way to surprise your opponent, while you could also just chase after him. But you have to be careful. If you're stealth, then you're also careful not being spotted by your own pursuer. If you go and just open conflict and just expose yourself, basically, the one that has a contract on you will spot you more and more efficiently. So you have to gauge what's the best, depending on the context. So it's a very, very innovative mode, I think, which will bring something fresh to the multiplayer experience. So, and this is just one of our modes. We'll also have some team-based modes and some other adversarial modes in the multiplayer. Not at all. We use the setting of Rome for the multiplayer, like any other of the different maps we are introducing. So it's the same as our Florence map or our San Donato map. Basically, we take the most interesting portions of the city and we cut it down to make it fit well with the type of experience we want to feature. Multiplayer maps need to be custom made so that the size is just right, the number of places you can hide, the number of places you can run are just right, because otherwise if we would just use the single player map of Rome, then it would just be too big, and you would spend an hour just looking for the person you're looking for. So it's just a matter of balancing and level design. Right, so I've been in video game development for a couple of years now, and I could have answered this question the same way 10 years ago. Basically, everything's relative. We try to maximize what we do with the current technology. That's just the way we do things in games development. The consoles nowadays are very powerful machines. They're multi-CPU, multi-GPU machines, and there's multiple ways you can maximize what you do with it. It also depends on the type of game you're making. We do an open world game, so we're probably doing the most complex type of game. What I mean by that is that we are both trying to create a living, breathing world, and also trying to add as many features as possible. In Assassin's Creed, we've been adding features and features over the years. We basically have all the feature set of AC1 and AC2 in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and we keep on adding some more. So it's getting hard for us to maintain all the historical features we have, and also trying to figure out new ways without breaking the old ones. So it's a balancing act. And in terms of just recreating a living, breathing world, well, we try our best. It's a mix between credibility and realism. It's never perfect. You have to find a way that it appears to work, it appears to be realistic, by making compromises. So, for example, our crowd is an integral part of our gameplay, but we use it for social stealth. So what's important for us is that we are able to, they do stuff, and as a player, we can enter some of their groups they're forming to hide from guards. That's the most important part. All the rest is very cosmetic. When they walk and they talk to each other and they go to have water from a well, that's all very cosmetic, and we could live without that. But we try to add a little bit of that, just to make it feel that the city actually has living people in it. You see what I mean? So it's really a matter of just figure out what's important for a gameplay versus for realism.